Hello viewers, if you are new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button and share it with your friends. Also, click on the bell icon so that you get the latest information about the videos that are uploaded. Hello students, welcome back to the new video. In this video, we are going to continue the ongoing chapter number 10, Respiration in Organisms. In today's session, we will discuss about the mechanism of breathing and also an activity to understand the working of human lungs and diaphragm. So students, today first we will see what is the mechanism of breathing. You are familiar with the term breathing. What is breathing? Breathing is a physical activity or a physical process, and that involves two processes called inhalation and exhalation. So, breathing is a physical process involving inhalation and exhalation. And also, you are familiar with the terms inhalation and exhalation. You know that inhalation is the process by which we take the air into the body, and exhalation is the process by which we give out air into the atmosphere. So, today we are going to learn, today we will see how this inhalation and exhalation process actually take place. See, the process of inhalation and exhalation is caused by the action of diaphragm and intercostal muscles. So, inhalation and exhalation is caused by the action of two organs known as diaphragm and intercostal muscles. And you are familiar with the term diaphragm now. Where do we find diaphragm? Diaphragm is a muscular membrane present at the floor of the chest cavity. So, the muscular membrane called diaphragm is present at the floor of the chest cavity. Further, diaphragm can stretch like a balloon and pulls lungs down, making them bigger. It shows that by the action of the diaphragm, the lungs can look bigger. The muscles between the ribs are called intercostal muscles. So, by the action of diaphragm and the intercostal muscles, the inhalation and exhalation can take place. It is found that during breathing, the size of our chest cavity changes. To understand this, you can do a simple activity. Take a deep breath and ask one of your friends to measure your chest cavity using a measuring tape. Note down this number and then breathe out, that is exhale the air. Again measure the chest cavity and note down that number also. Repeat this 2 or 3 times. So the change in or difference in these readings easily shows that there is change in the size of the chest cavity during breathing. Now let us see what happens during inhalation. Inhalation is the action of taking in air rich in oxygen. That means air enters into the body during inhalation process. So during inhalation, the chest cavity moves outwards and upward. Chest cavity moves outwards and upwards means it makes it expands the chest cavity. So the diaphragm contracts to move downwards and becomes flat. So during inhalation, two processes takes place, or chest cavity moves upwards and outwards, and secondly the diaphragm moves downwards and contracts. So the movement of the diaphragm in the downward direction and becomes flat. That means the chest cavity, the size of the chest cavity increases, and as a result the space in the chest cavity increases for air to enter into the lungs. You know that inside the chest cavity our lungs are situated. So if the space in the chest cavity increases, then the lungs expand. That means more air can enter into the lungs during inhalation. because of the action of or contraction of diaphragm. Now let us see what happens during exhalation. As you know, exhalation is the action of giving out air rich in carbon dioxide. During this exhalation process, the ribs move inwards and downward. Ribs are the carved bones of which the rib cage is made up of. So during exhalation process, the ribs move downward and also inward. This will reduce the space available in the chest cavity. And also diaphragm moves upwards and relaxes to return to its normal position. So during contraction, the diaphragm has become flat. Now it is relaxing. That means the diaphragm is moving upwards, and that also will reduce the space inside the chest cavity. So the contraction of rib cage reduces the space inside the chest cavity, and as a result the air rich in carbon dioxide is driven out of the lungs. You know that lungs are located in the chest cavity. If the space inside the chest cavity is reduced, the lungs also contract. So because of that, the air which is rich in carbon dioxide is given out of the lungs through the nose. That process is known as exhalation. So inhalation and exhalation together, it is known as breathing. Now let us discuss one activity. So what is the aim of the activity? To understand the working of human lungs and diaphragm. What are the materials required for this activity? 2 balloons, a Y-shaped tube, a bell jar, a rubber sheet, elastic bands, and a rubber cork with a hole in the center. So here, instead of bell jar, we can take even the big plastic bottles and cut from the center. Now let us see what is the procedure. Take a bell jar or the plastic bottle and insert a Y-shaped glass tube with a balloon on each of its forked ends through the single hole cork. What we have to do? Take the cork, insert that Y-shaped tube. It has got 2 balloons attached on both sides of the forked ends. Now after fitting this Y-shaped tube on the cork, we have to fix this cork on the mouth of the bell jar. So students, this is the diagrammatic representation of the arrangement for the activity. Here we have taken one bell jar which represents the chest cavity, and Y tube. Y tube represents the trachea, and the 2 edges represents the bronchi, and at the end of each tube there are 2 balloons fitted. So the entire Y tube represents trachea and bronchi, and this is passed through a single holed cork which is fixed on the mouth of the bell jar. And now one rubber sheet is fitted at the bottom of the bell jar which acts as the diaphragm. So the rubber sheet acts as the diaphragm. Now what is the other part of the procedure? So fix the rubber sheet at the bottom of the bell jar with the help of elastic bands to make it airtight. It is very necessary to make it airtight. Now pull the rubber sheet in the downward direction. What is the procedure part? We have to pull the rubber sheet with the help of that thread. On pulling the rubber sheet, what we can see? We can see that the 2 balloons which are fitted with the Y tube gets inflated. That means it gets filled with the air. How does the air enters into the balloon? Here you can see that it is fitted with the Y tube which is representing the trachea. So the air enters through the trachea and enters into the balloons, that is lungs, and gets inflated. Why? Because when we pull the rubber sheet, that is diaphragm, goes down, the space in the chest cavity increases, and into that space air enters through the Y tube, and that fills in the balloon and it gets inflated. This is what happens by the action of diaphragm inside our lungs also. Now let us see the observation part of this activity. When we pull down the rubber sheet, the space inside the bell jar increases. This reduces the air pressure and air from the outside rushes to the balloon, resulting in their inflation. As I explained here, when we pull the rubber sheet downside, the space increases and as a result the air from outside rushes into the balloon and make them inflate. That is what happens during inhalation. So we can say that the diaphragm contracts and the air rushes into the lungs during inhalation. Now what happens when we release the rubber sheet? When we release the rubber sheet, the space in the bell jar decreases. This pushes the air out of the balloons, resulting in their deflation. That is what happens during exhalation. Here, as it is shown here, when we release the rubber sheet, what happens? The space inside the bell jar decreases. That means the air pressure increases. So the increased air pressure pushes the air outward and cause the balloon to get deflated. That is what happens during exhalation. So we can say that when the diaphragm relaxes, air moves out of the lungs. This is how the inhalation and exhalation takes place inside our body. Now I would like to discuss one life skill activity that takes place naturally, that is sneezing. Do you know when we get the sneezing? The inhaled air, that is the air that we breathe in, contains some unwanted particles also. So when these particles enters inside the nose, there is some filtering system inside our nose, that is hair, then the slimy or sticky substance called mucus and lots of capillaries. You know that the hair filter out the air that we breathe in. But sometimes some of the dust particles or germs may escape and enter into our nasal cavity. So when these dust particles get pasted in the sticky substance, the lining of the nasal cavity get irritated, and because of that we start getting sneezing. So we can say that sneezing is a natural method of removing the unwanted particles from our respiratory tract. So sneezing is a method of removing the unwanted particles from our respiratory tract. You must have heard that one should always breathe through the nose. Now did you understand why? Because if we breathe through the mouth, then this natural mechanism of filtering and purification will not take place. That is why one should always take the breathing through nose. So students, I hope you have understood the topics very well. But still, if you have any doubt, you can write in the comment section. I will surely try to solve it as early as possible. Here are some review questions. Please solve it in your notebook. Thank you.